Hi, you're with Julian on the Brown Notes and the great Katie Hopkins fallacy. Now, if you don't know who Katie Hopkins is or what this current kerfuffle was about, as she is, I believe, back in the UK, good on you. You're doing it right. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Unfortunately for me, this isn't my first Katie Hopkins celebrity Big Brother rodeo. She is someone that came to prominence in the 2000s. She was working for the Met Office as a brand consultant. Very ScoMo, sort of like in that world of promotion and marketing, funnily enough. And she took some time off while she was on probation to star in the The Apprentice with Alan Sugar, the UK version of Donald Trump's fabled show. The connection with Donald Trump hasn't ended for her. So she ended up becoming quite a prominent character on that show, notably for her forthright opinions on, at that stage, just being a little bit snarky and bitchy, as in sort of bitching about other contestants. Nothing massively major there, but she ended up pulling out of that show. I think she came third. She couldn't do the final bit because she had children in daycare or something like that where she couldn't actually complete the series. But anyway, she was then sacked by her employer, because a lot of stuff started coming out in the tabloids about her private life and the fact I think she'd shacked up with 2 married men in a row or something like that. Anyway, it started getting a bit salacious, and the Met said, "You're on probation," and just got rid of her. So she ended up finding that she liked this limelight and being a bit problematic, and took it from there and went headlong into TV, news, radio, newspaper columns for people like The Sun. And she basically, over time, created this persona. She is, like our glorious Prime Minister in Australia, Scott Morrison, a complete fabrication. She's the kind of right-wing talking head like Ross Limbaugh, or is it Alan Jones? I've forgotten his name. Isn't that wonderful? The InfoWars guys. When they go to court, they say, "You can't possibly prosecute us. We're entertainers. Only a moron would believe that we actually mean anything we say. It's all a fabrication." And she found out that the more she got headlong into this, like all of them, they knit together. They don't stand for a political ideology. They knit together causes. So she would be everything like anti-vax, anti-climate change action, pro-lockdown, pro-breaking lockdowns, pro-Donald Trump, pro-sex trafficking conspiracy theories. Anything that knits together her audience, she will be. She don't believe any of it. And she's had numerous legal problems along the way. I was about to say how she makes her money, but she doesn't really make much money. She's listed as having as much as £500,000 in net worth, which for somebody of her prominence over the last 15 years is not really much. And the other thing is, she was, in one of her many legal stoushes, taken to court and had to sell her home in 2019 to pay the libel damages, one of many. So she's not exactly loaded. Channel 7 actually decided that it was a good idea to get this person into the country during a lockdown, and that would play well with the public. Really reading the room well, bringing in someone like that. So she came over to do Celebrity Big Brother, which is another fantastically timed outing for Channel 7. Really good idea to bring in lots of pampered, obnoxious celebrities when there are thousands of Australians trapped overseas, desperate to see their own children. Let's bring in lots of pampered celebrities during a lockdown. Why they thought that was a good idea, I don't know. Now, here's the thing, and this is why it's a fallacy. Her intention all along was exactly what happened. She had no intention of going on that program. All she was doing was what she always does, drumming up her profile, drumming up her media presence, which she will parlay that into other gigs. She would have got destroyed on Celebrity Big Brother over here because no one would have really cared about her. Anyway, she would have been kicked off air within 20 minutes because she would have said something obnoxious, probably deliberately, so she could turn around and say that I am a vanguard of freedom of speech and this is my punishment. I am standing for you all. So her intention was to stay in an airport. She was so deliberately, willfully breaking legal rules about her lockdown status that there was only ever going to be one outcome, that she was kicked out of the country. So there's no way she wouldn't have known any of that. The idea that she was waiting in the shower naked for the people to come to the door is rubbish. She wasn't doing any of that. She was joking. But her intention was to get kicked out of the country, go home and cry about how her right-wing views are being oppressed, even though that had nothing to do with why she was sent home. Now, Channel 7 have made a massive error here and heads have to roll. For a start, ignoring the whole idea of holding Big Brother during this double lockdown in Melbourne and Sydney. This is a woman who in 2016, the Mail Online was forced to pay significant damages to a Muslim family Hopkins falsely accused of extremist links, and to teacher Jackie Teal after she falsely accused Teal of taking her class to Donald Trump protests. In the 2017 libel Monroe v Hopkins, Hopkins was required to pay legal costs to Jack Monroe, bankrupting her after defamatory remarks which were not true on Twitter. And she's been terminated many times. The last time, I believe, apart from Celebrity Big Brother Australia, was following the Manchester Arena bombing, where she advocated for a final solution against Muslims. Over the years, her opinions have become more and more hardline as she has woven herself into this Trumper QAnon world. So the fact that Channel 7, one, was stupid enough to be duped by this low-rent chancer in the first place is just ludicrous. Who would be that stupid to actually get her, knowing her past? And the fact that she has said things like Muslims deserve to have the final solution and other, machine gunning refugees at sea. Who in Channel 7 is keeping their job after deciding that was a good idea? Now, I said it wasn't my first rodeo. I watched the UK's Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother. I was a huge Big Brother fan when it was on Channel 5 in the UK. It was the best show on television because it was the opposite of the sanitised children's It's a Knockout you get in Australia. They just gave very combustible people lots of alcohol and cigarettes and watched them go crazy for weeks on end, and it was magic. She came second, which is an anomaly because she's horrible. But in the UK, that year was won by Katie Price, to give you an indication. So the problem with the celebrity one is most of them are Z-list celebrities. And if you get someone that's really prominent with a large following in the Sun newspaper, and she had a column in the Sun newspaper, they get block voted to the end. But Celebrity Big Brother in the UK really showed up Katie Hopkins for who she really is. I expected this very witty, acidic, acerbic, brave, forceful woman. She isn't any of that at all in real life. She hides in the echo chamber of her newspaper columns and things like Sky News Australia or Fox News, where no one challenges her. In the environment of Celebrity Big Brother UK, she was a flat-out bully, the weakest kind of bully. She used to identify who she thought was the weakest person in the room and go and get 4 or 5 people to back her up and then try and bully them. And whenever one of these people stood up to her one-on-one, she folded like a cheap suit every single time and started doing the little girl, oh, I'm so sorry routine. She is pathetic in real life. And her comebacks were really down to, you've got a small penis or you're fat. She wasn't witty or articulate in any way. Her mind was not remotely interesting. So she needs that cocooned environment to thrive. She's now got this echo chamber that she's part of. And the whole point in her coming here, and this is why Channel 7 are even more stupid, is so that she could deliberately get chucked out of the country and then go back to the UK and tell everybody that her freedom of speech, she went there and she was kicked out because they won't stand for her views on issues. None of that happened. She got kicked out for breaching COVID rules. But she will now use that and tell everyone on Earth that we suppressed her freedom.